Hey friends, good afternoon. It's Nikki Jackson back live at Orlando. It is hot, it is steamy, but we're surviving. We're having fun, aren't we?
It's raining.
Yes. So you are joining the live podcast experience here at WCI, and you're in for a real treat today because we've got Gain Life in the house.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop. Emily, let's start with you. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Emily Cameron, head of product at Gain Life. Do you want me to share more? I lead the product, so I work with sales and clients and our engineers to make sure that we're developing effective solutions to help solve problems and bring it to life in an effective way. So yeah, it's fun.
All right.
And Emily's humble. She was formerly a team lead at Epic, biggest healthcare conglomerate in the world, doing awesome work there before we were able to bring her into Gain Life. And I'm Sean, CEO and co-founder. Been doing this for 5.5 years now. Feel very blessed with the chance that we get to work with awesome people in this industry and awesome teammates like Emily. So really excited to be here today. Thanks, Nikki.
You downplayed your background too.
All right, fair enough. Like Emily, I spent much of my career in healthcare and then stumbled backwards into the property and casualty space probably 6 years ago almost now.
Okay, so what is Gain Life?
Yeah, so Gain Life's a workflow automation platform that's utilized by forward-thinking TPAs, carriers, self-insureds, and it comes to life in a variety of ways depending on kind of friction points that one of these customers would be looking to solve, whether it's to provide a better claimant or insured experience or potentially an adjuster experience or case manager. So trying to essentially create a TurboTax-like solution one side for the injured worker or the insured, and then on that other side, be able to create a whole bunch of efficiencies to reduce that administrative burden of their job.
Okay.
Ultimately, trying to make claim processes better by simplifying the process and reducing the uncertainty and confusion and making sure everyone's on the same page.
Well, it's been a lot of fun watching you guys grow over the past couple of years here, or several years, I'm not sure. But I gotta ask, so in the InsurTech space, what lessons have you learned about driving innovation in a traditional, we'll say it kindly, traditional industry like insurance?
Yeah, I'll start. I would say that insurance is typically risk adverse. And so making sure that there's effective integration and implementation is key. Users are weary of changing their processes and, we're kind of battling with phone calls and snail mail. And so that's something that you can do, and tech can sometimes seem optional. And so making sure that it's really easy for them to understand, easy for them to use, it's integrated into their existing workflow, and actually solves their problems and saves them time so that they don't have to, so it's really easy for them to adapt their workflow and take advantage of the enhancements and not have to spend a lot of time learning a new system or navigating between systems. So that would be one. I think another one is just making sure you're solving the right problems. So there's a lot of tech out there. There's a lot of solutions and great solutions. But if not implemented well, if they can't really see that story and the why behind it, again, resistant to adapting it. And so making sure that you're, working alongside adjusters and the users that'll be using it, and building those solutions in a more effective way to actually be solving those problems, applying the technology.
My add would be there's great people in this industry with really good intentions. And so I think being able to help as an insurance technology kind of partner to them to be able to take and harness those good intentions and being able to build relationships that help them understand how you can get them from point A to point B and not just from point A to point Z, and understand that bigger organizations than what an InsurTech vendor like ourselves would look like just move a little bit slower and have to be, as a result of kind of the way their organization's grown up, maybe a touch more risk averse in certain ways, but knowing that those intentions that are always positive with respect to the claimants, the insureds that we get a chance to serve each and every day, being able to help guide them on a path that really acknowledges that we want to take care of your folks, we want to take care of you, I think is ever so important. And so it's one of those things that, again, we feel very lucky to work with the folks we do on this stuff.
Okay. So how do you balance innovation with the need to address the practical, day-to-day challenges of claims professionals?
Yeah, I can go first again. From our perspective, it should really be symbiotic. The day-to-day practical challenges is what should be driving what we're innovating. And it may not seem like that when you introduce the technology. And so that's where, again, you have to introduce the workflow. And so we should be building technology that's saving them time so that they can work on those more complex problems, or aiding them in simplifying, breaking down the problems so it's easier for them to solve those complex problems. We don't want to be making up technology to add more effort to their work. We should be focusing and prioritizing what are your biggest pain points and focusing the technology on that.
Yeah, and I think that finding that balance of like early wins, which sounds ever so simple, but it's one of those things that like technological change is difficult for a lot of different entities. And so how can you try to carve out like, here's the right place to start? And it's because it is one that has the highest chance of success, and because it is one that will also have a moderate to high impact. And so start there, build those wins, help build the organization's confidence around it. And I think it helps relieve a lot of those tensions along the way.
I will add, oftentimes people don't know what's out there, so they don't really know what to ask for. And so when hearing day-to-day challenges, it's important to, again, sit next to the adjuster or the user, really understand what that root cause is and not just solve for those symptoms. And so really, again, solving for that workflow, because you can get bogged down by trying to solve point solutions where there's a simpler solution that can get at that root cause and really help the overall problem.
Yeah, at this conference, we talk a lot about empathy and helping the injured worker and making the experience better. But one of the things we often don't talk about is the stuff that's not so sexy, right? The state forms, the boxes that you got to check, all that stuff. So I think this tech, it sounds like, can really help to alleviate some of those and give some simple wins so they can focus on making decisions, important ones. All right, so my last question here, what advice would you give to organizations looking to modernize their claims processes while maintaining compliance and efficiency?
Great question, because ultimately, like, it all starts with your data. How do you protect your data? How do you ensure that you stay on the good side of, all the regulators and all the, constant change that happens in our industry that people have to stay on top of? And so I would say that, like, finding that balance of, again, like picking off what are those things that might be the most straightforward opportunities and some of the easiest wins, like trying to start there and be able to understand the partners that you're working with. Do they have the appropriate kind of like chain of trust to controls in place that you would expect to treat your own data? Because ultimately, as a vendor in the space, we treat our customers' data like as if it's our own. And so that if we had a data breach, like, that would be detrimental to our company in a way that, like, we empathize with how our customers must feel on the same way. And so being able to understand not only like how do we protect data, but how do we also meet all those compliance requirements, like, in tandem. It's something that it's at the core of what I think most technology vendors do, because we know we're only as good as the individuals we get an opportunity to work with. And because we work in a highly regulation and kind of rules-based industry, it's one that systems, like, I think, are really darn good at that stuff. And so how can we make sure that we have the right systems, the right controls in place? We're working with the appropriate parties, both on our side from a chief information security officer standpoint to all of our customers standpoint, from their compliance and governance boards to even now these kind of newfangled kind of AI kind of review boards that companies are putting up. Like, how do we ensure that, like, we understand what their point of view is, they understand ours, and we're constantly communicating back and forth. And I think that communication theme is one that we obviously see in our industry time and time again.
Okay. Yeah, and I would add, kind of echoing that, starting small, get your foot in the door, try some things. You don't want to spend 2 years building something that's perfect and then it's, not applied in the right way. And so, just trying things out, making sure there's an expert human in the loop, reviewing the output of what that technology looks like, and then proving the value, showing that it actually works, and then scaling smart from there.
Wow, I'm impressed. So if people want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
Website's probably easiest, gainlife.com. You can check us out and see if, what we have is something that might be able to scratch an itch for you. And then, just info@gainlife. It's our email that's monitored for all potentially customer inquiries. And so we'd love to hear from folks and see how we might be able to learn a little bit more about your problems and see if we can't help solve any.
All right, non-business. Let's stop the shop talk.
Love it.
I saw you guys last night. Did you hang out with Big and Rich?
I didn't know that was an option.
Oh, I don't know if you could hang out with him personally.
I would have stayed.
But were you jamming out to Big and Rich?
I think that one of our teammates might have been jamming out so hard that we haven't seen them yet today.
Was that Noah?
Yeah.
Oh.
Special call out to Noah. But in general, it was a great time. Great to see everybody cut loose, dressed up. Really, really awesome time. So thank you to WCI for putting on such a great show.
They always put on a great show. And next year, 80 years, I can't believe it. It's so incredible. They really do an awesome job. Well, thanks so much for coming on today and sharing your insights with us. Thank you, everyone. We've got another podcast coming up in just a few minutes. See ya.
Thank you.
Yes. Bye.